I see more people joining in, I would want all of you to go ahead and participate on the poll that we have gone ahead and launched so that we get a sense of who you are, how many years of work experience you currently have, and where is it that you're joining in from as well. And as I look at the poll, I also see that a lot of you have already attended some of the AI trainings that we have conducted in the past, and many of you are attending an Outskill session for the very first time. So I'm super excited to welcome all of you. And the chat is on. Let me know if you're all able to hear me well and see me well. Drop in a yes on the chat if you can hear me well and see me well. All right, just doing a quick tech check as we get started. Perfect. Loud and clear say many people. I love that. Perfect. Perfect. I think we are good to get started. Drop in on the chat. Where is it that you're joining in from today? Where is it that you're joining in from? Abu Dhabi, UK, Ireland, Saudi Arabia, multiple people from the US, London, Washington, DC. Okay. Wow. I love the way the chat is flowing at this point of time. Philippines, Malaysia, Toronto, Canada. Wonderful. Someone's like they're signing in all the way from Mars. I'm going to put the chat on pause and help all of us get started with the workshop itself. Now, as more people are joining in, I quickly want to go ahead and talk a little bit about what is it that we have been trying to do inside of Outskill as people are still joining in. And I'm super excited to welcome all of you once again officially into this workshop. For those of you who are attending a session at Outskill for the very first time, we are the world's largest generative AI education platform 2028. And looking at the way things are evolving, we feel that we should be doing this as quickly as possible with the help of a lot of people from all around the world. Over the last couple of years, more than 11 million plus people have come in, learned and gotten started with generative AI with Outskill. People from more than 173 plus countries have gotten started with AI by learning at Outskill. Drop in a heart if that excites all of you and you see that kind of a global audience in this call as well. More than 100 million hours of learning has happened on our platform with an average CSAT of 4.8 on a scale of 5. And today, all of us are gathered here to learn about generative AI, the foundations of it that everybody needs to know as of today. And we're also going to go very deep into one specific tool that is truly changing the way people across the world are working as of today, which is ClYDE, the tool that many of you might have used, many of you might not have heard about as well. Now, without further ado, are you all ready to meet your mentor for the day? Drop in a yes on the chat if you're all ready to meet your mentor for the day. Quick yes on the chat. Wonderful, wonderful. And who is it who is going to come in and teach you over the next 2 hours? Well, we have the founder of Outskill, Vaibhav Sisinti, joining us today. He's someone who has more than 2.5 million plus followers across social media platforms as of today. He's the fastest growing AI content creators in the entire world as of today. And people from all across the world have gone ahead and invited him for multiple different podcasts and everything around it. A lot of you here would have already gone ahead and learned from him as well. I'm super excited to welcome Vaibhav into the session today. Now, as he takes over, I would quickly want to run you all through a few disclaimers as well. Essentially, have your complete focus over the next 2 hours on the session that we are going to get started with. Eliminate all the distractions that you might be having around you at this point of time. This entire session is going to be a demo of how you can go ahead and solve problems with AI. So have your absolute focus on the session. And I see that most people are joining in from a laptop or a desktop, but those of you who are from a mobile phone, try and join in from a laptop and a desktop as well so that you have a bigger screen. But with that being said, are we all super excited to get started? Drop in yes on the chat if you're excited to get started. Perfect. Perfect. On that note, Vaibhav, are you able to hear me?
What is up, people? I hope you guys can hear me and see me. Just setting
Yes.
things up. Am I audible? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Yes, yes, yes. All righty. Very excited to host all of you people. Just for me to get a sense, can you guys drop where you guys are tuning in from? Which city, which country? My team was telling me that we have people from over 50 different countries today. Okay. Wow, look at that. I see a lot of US, I see a lot of UK, Germany. As I read through it, I see London, I see Pakistan, I see India, I see Nepal as well. That's interesting. I see a lot of Europe, Tanzania, Dubai, of course, Canada. All right, awesome. Look at that. I hope you guys are able to see what's happening on the chat. We have people representation from almost every part of the world. And that is what is most exciting about AI, right? The most exciting part about AI is the fact that AI is truly, truly global. And what you're seeing at this point of time is a reflection of just that. Okay. All right. So there are few people who are spamming, and people who spam will go into hosts and co-hosts by default. We got it. Just because you put your country 10 times, your representation doesn't go. But I like the fact that people want to show the representation of the country, which is great. Folks, very excited to host all of you people. I think if I have to tell you the reason why we got to this session was purely because we realized that ClYDE is something that is taking over the world, right? It is changing the game, and people who are able to use ClYDE internally in my team. I run a team with 200 plus employees, and we saw even people who are just getting started with AI who have started to use ClYDE well are able to do incredible work. And as a result, my team was like, hey, can we do a quick workshop for people, teaching them the real power of ClYDE? And I was like, why not? So don't expect this workshop to be very organized. I'm sure a lot of you people probably have attended a session of ours before. I see about a lot of them. 44% have attended before. So you've probably seen me before. I'm usually a lot more organized than what I'm going to be today, because today I'm gonna just play around with stuff and hack around with stuff, and I really hope you guys get a lot of value out of it. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. All right, give me a second. Okay, is my screen visible, guys? Can I get in a few hearts so that I know the screen is visible for all of you people? All right, perfect, perfect. Looks like my screen is visible. Okay, guys, I know a few of you have attended our sessions before, but I also thought that it's important for us to give context to people, right? You need to understand that AI is currently like a super smart intern, like a super duper smart intern. And you know what? This is something that comes out as I talk to a lot of people, right? They understand and they say that web of AI is like a super smart intern, right? But that is what most people think it is. But I truly believe it's much more than that, right? AI is not going to be super smart intern forever. I don't think that would be the case for a very long time, because AI is almost acting like a replacement agent. AI is coming for all our jobs. And when I say this line, I'm not trying to say that this is only for people who are in jobs right now. This is for everyone. If you're an entrepreneur, you're also doing a job today of running the business, right? If you are an employee, of course, you guys know what a job is, right? If you are a consultant, you're working to make money. So that's a job again, right? So all of us are in jobs in some form or fashion. And AI is kind of coming for all of us, all our jobs, all our living, right? And I hope the prediction that I'm making here, I hope I'm really wrong. But here's the thing, there's a very good chance in the next couple of years, AI is going to take 4 out of 5 jobs. It's going to be AI agents. It's going to be it's augmented AI humans who are going to take 4 out of 5 jobs, and that's going to happen. So, what is that we are doing if AI is going to take 4 out of 5 jobs? Well, the reason why I created this workshop, very importantly, is that how can I help you guys to increase your odds so that you continue to win? What is that I can do that could increase your odds that you can continue to win? How can I do something for you guys that will make sure that you're part of that one who continues to win instead of those four who will lose the game? So I've designed this session in a way that you guys get enough context to compete so that your odds of being part of that one who continues to have a job just fundamentally increases. That is going to be my goal of today's workshop in the next 90 minutes. Give you enough context. And guys, this is not me saying. I'm sure you've heard of Jensen Huang. He is the founder of Nvidia, worth $1 trillion, the most valuable company as of today. And he said AI isn't coming to take your job. Someone using AI is going to come take your job. And here's a line that kind of made me, notice this thought. The first thing everyone should do today is to learn how to use AI so that they can augment their own productivity. So, in a way, Jensen Wong is saying before AI replaces you, it's in a way, AI is not replacing you, AI is replacing your job with a new job in most of the cases. So, how do you augment your productivity so that you become that person who can capture and win by getting prepped up for that new one job role that opens instead of five? Am I making sense? All the five jobs as it is going to vanish, but one new job is going to get created, and one new job that's going to get created is going to be a updated job, which is going to be something where you have to be an orchestrator so that you can augment your own productivity. It's quite wise what has come out of Jensen Wong. So we thought, how about we put something together? And when we were thinking about this workshop as well, right, we realized till 2024, there was only one thing that used to come up when we used to think about AI, and that was ChatGPT. ChatGPT was the undisputed king. Don't you guys agree with it? It had 400 million downloads at a point of time. Right now, the last time they reported, they had 500 million monthly active users. It was an absolute default for everyone. Claude as an AI tool existed. But that was not very popular. Very few people that I knew of were using Claude, and that was more like a backup tool for everyone. It was like, oh, you know what, my chat GPT is not working really well, so maybe I should jump to Claude. That is how people was using. But you know what? Something happened. In March 2025, things fundamentally changed. Because in Feb, Claude launched something called as Claude Code. And Claude's all models were designed for writing great code. And when they launched Claude Code, the engineers first jumped into the ecosystem of using Claude instead of OpenAI. But something new happened that a lot of people don't understand. It was not just engineers who jumped into it, but also a lot of non-software engineers who never written a single line of code also jumped into Claude Code because they realized they don't have to write code. They just have to augment this tool called as Claude Code to be able to do everything. And the kind of results they started to get was just insane. But that was just the beginning. Next month, they launched something called as hybrid reasoning and web search. As a result, the outputs became much, much better. Then they launched the Max plan. As a result, the revenue spiked. And finally, they launched Claude 4, which was the Opus 4 models, which was absolutely mind blowing. Then they didn't stop. They launched Claude in Chrome. Then they launched Opus 4.5. Then they launched Opus 4.6. And they finally launched a bomb called as Claude Cowork. And very soon, on top of all of this incredible execution by Claude of launching one product at a time, which was absolutely mind blowing, something else happened. Something massive happened in the US. What happened was, Claude was initially working with Department of War, and they pulled out of the contract because they were not comfortable with a couple of specific things that the Department of War wanted from them. Claude was like, look, we don't want our technology. Anthropic was like, we don't want our technology to be used to make autonomous weapons, which was a very important thing for Dario Amodei, who's the founder. And he also said that we don't want Anthropic's models to be used for anything that goes around tracking a human, right? Which will breach privacy of people and which will kill people autonomously. As a result, they pulled off from a contract with the American government. And guess what happened? Right after that, OpenAI's ChatGPT kind of did the similar contract. We don't know the contract terms, but something like this happened, and the internet exploded. The internet reacted. The internet reacted with 295% ChatGPT uninstalls. A lot of people gave up Claude, and all of a sudden, Claude became the number one app in the US and also very soon all over the world. All of a sudden, there was this incredibly powerful AI assistant that existed all the time, but people treated ChatGPT like a verb and started to use ChatGPT for everything. As a result, nobody was willing to move. But because of this phenomena that happened in Feb, thanks to Trump, a lot of people started to use ClYDE for the first time. And all of a sudden they realized, damn, this thing is insane. This thing is crazy. And on top of that, Anthropic was smart enough. Anthropic is the developer of ClYDE, right? They were smart enough to double down on the opportunity to ship features like crazy. As a result, guess what happened? Anthropic, which started almost a few years later of OpenAI, which got founded in 2020, beat OpenAI's yearly MRR. OpenAI was at like around 30 billion, and Anthropic got to 33 billion, beating the revenue numbers of OpenAI as well, becoming the fastest growing company ever in the history of humanity. Now, why am I telling you all this story? How the hell does it matter if Anthropic is making more revenue or OpenAI is making more revenue? Well, that is because I'm sharing this because all this revenue is not coming because it's a fad. All this revenue is coming because the product is absolutely insane. And also because I thought you should know. Right. So sorry if this story was not helpful or boring for you guys, but I thought it's an incredible story. There's a lot of learnings for everyone to have inside of this. Every opportunity is actually not an opportunity, is what Anthropic said. Not taking an opportunity is probably the biggest opportunity Anthropic had, if you know what I mean. But I don't know the political side of things, but I think it's phenomenal. And when ClYDE became the default tool from ChatGPT for the best people out there, the playbook changed. You see, the people who learn, right now, I truly believe the people who learn ClYDE in 2026 will outwork, outright, and outship everyone else because it is that powerful. So I designed this workshop so that all of you guys can get a head start. All of you guys get an unfair advantage over others because what I have understood when I assessed how my team is using ClYDE in my office, 90% of people are not even tapping the 5% potential of ClYDE. If my team, which is usually a pretty AI savvy team, is not leveraging the full potential of ClYDE, I realized our audiences would be a similar case. Hence, we put together this workshop so that we can give you a head start. Yes, that is the context, guys, on why I put this together and why I'm so excited and why this is also unstructured. With that being said, a pro tip. Because you guys have attended a few other sessions of ours, which are even more deeper, like a mastermind or whatever, possible, you might feel a few things you already know. Trust me when I say this. When you feel that you already know something, I expect one thing from you guys, and that is patience. Because what I'm going to show you today could be the same task, but the way I do it is going to be different. There is real value in the nuance of things. And that is the nuance that I want you to pick up. So if you know something that I'm going to talk about, have some damn patience, stick around, because I promise you, you will learn more than anything else in spite of whichever session you've attended of OutSkill. We obviously do quite extensive sessions. No matter what, you guys will get a ton of value. Sounds fair? Sounds good? So that is my recommendation. Now, what are we going to learn today? We're going to learn a bunch of things today, guys. We start with something called as context engineering. Then we move on to research intern. We're going to do it in a way that's going to be mind blowing. We're going to use something called as a model council, which is going to blow your minds. Then we're going to do social research on autopilot, something that I've realized 99% people have no idea about, which is incredibly powerful. Pro data analysis using AI, building presentation in minutes in a way that's going to change the way you're going to think about presentations forever. How can you get AI to do a lot of heavy lifting, summarizing, and teaching for you people? How can you build websites without writing a single line of code using a completely different stack? We're going to use a tool just to design and then use a tool to just develop, of course, without writing a single line of code. I'm going to teach you, for all the people looking for jobs, I'm going to teach you a way of job hunting while you sleep, which is a very cool thing. That's also an introduction towards a very interesting concept called as connectors. And finally, a tool that led to a crash of IT index globally, which wiped out close to $300 billion of stock of worth of stock in the global IT market. I'm going to show you that tool and I'm going to show you the power of that, and that's called as co-work. That is our agenda today. Sounds fun? Sounds fun? Drop in a heart if this agenda sounds like a fun thing. And without further ado, let us get started. The first thing that I want to talk about today is mastering the art of getting the most out of AI. And every time I talk about, hey, how can you get most out of any AI for that matter? One thing that kind of keep popping up. You know what that is? People think I'm usually talking about prompt engineering because whenever I talk about, hey, you need to get AI to work for you better, it's fundamental that people will think about prompt engineering, that they need to learn something called as prompt engineering. But here's the thing, you cannot prompt engineer like the best unless you learn something even more important to start with. And I saw this to be a gap among a lot of people. Before even you nail down prompt engineering, there's something else that you need to nail down, which will enable you to do your prompt engineering much, much better. And that, my friends, is something called as context engineering. So today we're going to talk about not prompt engineering, but actually something even more fundamental and even more valuable for today's LLMs, and that is called as context engineering. So when it comes to prompt engineering, right? Prompt engineering is like writing a better instruction. You're giving better instruction to an AI model. But context engineering, my friends, is like treating an AI like a human. And you basically try to give everything that a super smart human needs to know to do a job to an AI. That is called as context engineering. Giving AI everything a smart human would need to do the job. So instead of a human, you're giving it to an AI. So what is that every bit of information that you should give an AI, just like treating an AI like a smart human, so that AI can do the job in the best possible way, is called as context engineering. Guys, feel free to take a screenshot of this, put this as your wallpaper for a few seconds, for a few days, because I truly believe that this will change the way you get outputs from AI. Now, let's go and do an example so that you'll get a very good sense. Let's say I want AI to write me an email. Okay, write an email to 10K subscribers of mine. So what do? I simply come to, let's say, Claude, right? And I just send a prompt like this. Quite simple. I don't even need extended thinking for this. I click on the send button. And you know what? Claude is going to give us an answer. So let's give it a second. And you see what's happening. What is happening here is something that is very smart that I really like Claude for. You see, because I asked a very simple prompt saying, write an email to 10K subscribers invited to the generative AI workshop, it's literally asking me for questions. What is AI asking? What is Claude asking here for? It's asking for context. So Claude is smart enough to understand context engineering is important. So even though you gave a terrible prompt, which is not a great prompt, it's asking for context. What is the workshop format? Live and free. When is it happening? Let's say date TBD. What is the primary CTA? Register for free. I gave some more context to Claude. As a result, it will be able to come up with a decent output. And you know what? It's going to be a decent email because Claude got more context than it know. Okay. Now, what it's saying is, I know Webhub's voice well from memory. Let me write this now because Claude also has something called memory, and it knows what I like, what I don't like. As a result, it's able to use how I write my emails and comes up with an email right here. Hi, I'm hosting a free generative AI workshop. Grab your spot. I want to teach you something that took me months to figure out. Most people think AI tools are stuck at surface level, prompting ChatGPT, getting mere results, whatever. We got a decent email. And you know what? It is actually quite a good email because Claude got enough context about it because it asked me follow-up questions. But you know what? For you to get unfair advantage, you need to give it more context. You have to context engineer this damn prompt. So, how do we context engineer this prompt? How many of you guys want to get this results improved with context engineering? Drop in a heart. Well, the thing that you need to learn when it comes to context engineering is 5 layers of context. What are the 5 layers of context? One is the identity context. Who is that you want AI to act as? This, my friends, is the identity context. Who do you want AI to act as? Next is the world context. What does that AI need to know about your situation, business, and audience? So you need to tell AI the world context. Who is your situation? What is your business? Who is your audience? What is your situation? So that it understands the world context. Next is the task context. What do you exactly want AI to do? That is a task context. Next comes an example context. So one good thing for you to do that I usually do so that I get great results is, what does a great output look like? I give an example and also give an example of a bad output. So AI knows what I like and what I don't like in a single prompt. And finally, a constraint context. What are the boundaries? What are the rules? What are the non-negotiables? When you put all this information together, you get you get an input message for AI, which is context rich or is context engineered. So an example prompt is going to look something like this. The first line that you see is identity context. You're a casual, warm newsletter writer. Write like a simple friend sharing an opportunity, not like a marketer. I want my emails to sound like someone who is a friend of my subscriber has written the email. As a result, I say you're a casual, warm newsletter writer. Write like a smart friend. Then I give the world context. I say my 100K subscribers of Staying Ahead newsletter are, let's say in this case, Indian professionals, 25 to 38, who tried AI but don't use AI at work consistently. They fear falling behind. This is the world context. Next comes the task context. What exactly is the task? I say, invite them to my free generative AI workshop this Saturday, which saves 2 hours using AI, not recorded, so urgency is real, and give a registration link. This is the task I gave it. And finally, an example context. Like I said, in example, you do two things. One is that you give a good example, then you also give, you can see this, a bad example. The good example that I gave is feels like a friend texting about something useful. The bad example that I gave is event poster energy. I don't want it to read like a advertisement. No bullet point agendas, no fancy words like unlock and transform. Keep it like a friend. That is what I'm trying to do here. And finally, a constraint context. I don't want my emails to be long. As a result, I say under 200 words, subject line under 10 words, no emojis, no bullets, and it's in first person. This is a context engineered prompt. Now, I've written this. I just click on send. And you know what this will do? The kind of output that you'll get because of this, because of the amount of context that we gave, is going to be incredible. It's going to be personalized. Look at that. Okay, the email jumps directly because it's like a friend, like I told you. I'm doing a live workshop this Saturday. That's it. Okay, real talk. Most people I know played around with ChatGPT once or twice, but using AI consistently in actual work or actually save time, that's a different thing entirely. I'm running a free AI workshop on Saturday 11 a.m. I want you to be there. The goal, show you how to save 2 hours every single workday using AI, not in theory in your actual job. This won't be recorded. I'm not doing a replay. So if you're in, you have to be there live. Registration link. I've been using AI for 2 years now. The gap between people who figured it out and haven't is big. Saturday is me trying to close that gap for you. See you there. The link WebHub. How incredible is this email? It's personalized, it's first person, it's like I'm talking to a friend. I'm not giving an option, I'm telling that you should be there, which is great. That is my style of saying stuff. And it just works. This is the power of a context engineered prompt. Now, guys, I could have said, treat it like a marketer, write an email newsletter. I could change the prompt to anything that I want here. But what I'm trying to say is, I wanted it to be personalized. I wanted it to be personal. As a result, we got it this way. And you see it. You see the kind of output that we got. Now, a big question that a lot of, by the way, I wanted to just check. Guys, drop in a heart if you like the output that came out because of the context engineered prompt that we just sent out. Now, I'm glad. I just wanted to be sure. Now, how do we take this to the next level? A lot of people might be wondering, Webov, are you saying every time I want to get AI to write me an email, I need to write all this stuff? That's a lot of work. Is there a way I can make it easier? How many of you guys want to make this easier? Easy in the chat. You don't want to write such a large prompt every time you want to write an email. You see, when it comes to AI, Hard work should be done once or twice, not every single time. And I'm going to show you something that is going to just blow your mind. So what I do is, for the first time, now I know this is my style of writing an email, especially when I'm writing an email to my newsletter audience, right? So what I can say is something like this. Please save this instructions. Okay, I can just voice it out. Can you make sure that you save the prompting structure that I shared with you with context as a formula, so that every time, next time I ask you to write an email for my newsletter audience, you basically follow the same prompting technique to be able to write the answers that I want you to write. So save this whole information and this whole format like a skill. In a way, every time I just give you the task, you will first convert that into a prompt like this with context engineering by asking me follow-up questions if needed, and then you give me the output. So save the whole thing as a skill and call it the newsletter email skill. So guys, what I'm just saying is, I'm just telling Claude that I gave you a new format right now. I want you to convert that into something called a skill. Claude has something called a skill. What it can do is, every time you have a conversation and you want to retain that information, reuse it next time, you can just ask it to save it as a skill and give it a name. The name that I gave it is newsletter email skill. And you see what it's doing. It's right now creating a skill that it can remember. So every time I say write an email on this topic using this skill, it will write the whole thing as if I wrote this whole prompt myself. Isn't that just insane? What Claude is doing right now is basically converting the whole thing into a skill, and it's going to save it. All I have to do, I'm going to show you an example right now as well. All I have to do is just say, Claude, write this email using this skill, and it's done, guys. You can see a skill has been saved. I can just click on save skill and it's done. Now that the skill is saved, I can just open a new window and I can say, write a new email on the Spud AI model that OpenAI might launch very, very soon, right? Write a email on that using my email newsletter skill. Okay, I'm asking you to write an email on a new AI model that OpenAI is launching called as Spud, using a skill called as email newsletter skill. I'm not very sure if they've already launched it or not. I don't remember, but I just wanted to check this. So what it is doing, first it needs to know what Spud is. So it's quickly researching about it, right? It has found some information, and then it's gonna end up writing, look at this, reading email skill, newsletter email skill. It read the full skill that we wrote, right? That actually AI wrote. And now that it wrote the whole thing, it ended up writing the email in the style that I want to without actually repeating the prompt. Look at this. OpenAI's next big model might drop any day now. And you see, there is no hey person, greetings, nothing. It just followed our structure. Something about to happen in OpenAI. I wanted to make sure you hear it from me first. They have a model that's codenamed as Spud. Pre-training is done. Sam Altman told his team it could really accelerate the economy and blah, 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 everything around it. And you see this word count 195, one CTA repeated, no bullets, no hype words, friend energy throughout, because that was our expectation from every single email. All I had to say is write the email using my email newsletter skill. Guys, are you able to understand the power of this? Drop in a heart if you're able to understand the power of this. What I just showed you is not just about writing a great prompt. What I also taught you is that how can you write a great prompt for a use case that you repeat every single time and convert that into something called a skill so that you can get AI to do the hard work next time on. If you think this was insane, drop a comment insane in the chat so that I know you guys got the sense. Now you're getting a sense of how insane this is? Yes. And no, we are not covering OpenCloud today. Sorry, that's not possible in like 1.5 hours, sadly. Okay, now, one good thing, we just tried it and we got great results. Now, there's one other thing that I prefer doing a lot. Uh, And that is every time I have to do something important, I just don't rely on a single AI model. Guys, just because today's session is on Claude, I'm not just going to teach you Claude. I'm going to teach you multiple ways of doing things, multiple new tools as well, beyond Claude as well. I hope that's okay. Right? So, every time when it comes to getting something important out, I don't rely on a single AI model. I usually try to get that solution from multiple AI models at once and see which one is better. But I don't do it anymore because I have to open like 5 tabs. Now I use a app called as Multi. It's called as Multi. For that, you can go to getmulti.ai. It's actually quite a cool app. You know what it does? If I log into Multi, there's an option called as compare model. If I tap on this, you can see top models picked for you. I can select this, and you know what? It will automatically select 4 different AI models, which are the best in class right now. And not just that, if I want to add more AI models, I can just click on compare model and look at this. It allows me to select from literally 600 different AI models. Okay. Once I've selected the AI models that I want to output from, I can send the same prompt, click on send. And you know what? Instead of me jumping to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and DeepSeek separately, I get all the results of all the AI models in one place so that I can read all the results, pick the one that I like, and start using it. Look at this. DeepSeek is still thinking. It's probably in the chain of thought here. And we already got output from OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, and now we have started to get the results from DeepSeek as well. So all of a sudden, we have an AI, right? We have an AI tool that can literally compare AI model answers from 5 different AI models and give me the answer that I like. Isn't this insane, guys? Isn't this insane? I don't know what is funny though. I see a few smiling emojis, but I hope this is useful and helpful. Right? Your reaction slightly confused me here, but that's okay. Yes, and that is one quick one that I wanted to share with you guys, and that is called as Multi, which allows you to run multiple AI models separately. Now, moving on to one other thing. What I really believe is something very important is that using AI, you should be able to make informed decisions. Whenever you're researching about something, some information which cannot go wrong, we end up using, like a lot of you people must have heard of something called as deep research. If you want to research on a topic, you probably will have to go onto the internet and read hundreds of articles yourself. But you know what? Today, because of AI has something called as deep research, because of which you don't have to break your head by reading hundreds of articles, spending weeks on any topic. You can get AI to do research for you. And that is using a mode called as the research mode or the deep research option. So if you're on Claude, right, you can go to the add button right here. And there is something called as research right here. It turns on a very interesting feature called as deep research. And this tells Claude that you're trying to research about a topic. As a result, it will allow you to do extensive research by parallelly reading about hundreds of articles on that topic. For example, if I send a prompt like this, I say, you are an expert management consultant. I'll just send the prompt. You're an expert management consultant who does extensive research on any topic using the best frameworks. Do research for the edtech market of LATAM countries and see how well Outskill can do if we launch. So I want to know how well Outskill can do if we launch in the LATAM countries. Also do some research on the changes we'll have to make on Outskill offering. Make sure all of this is as detailed as possible. Now, the moment I ask this question for deep research as well, like beautiful thing Claude is, it asks me a few follow-up questions for context, right? I can select whatever I want to select, and it starts doing something called as deep research. And you know what? It will get a AI agent deployed, an AI agent which has the ability to read up hundreds of articles by planning out the task and getting the work done. And one of the most, once this is done, right, you will end up seeing an output like this. Look at this. What happened here is that AI created a plan of research, went through 484 sources, guys. Read literally 484 sources on the internet. And then once it read everything, it ended up coming up with a full research document like this. Look at that. This is the power of deep research. It took 14 minutes. Of course, I had done this in the past so that we don't have to wait for 14 minutes right now, but you get the idea. It's incredibly powerful. One more tool, which is also very powerful for deep research specifically. Sorry about that. One more tool, which is very powerful for deep research specifically, is called as Perplexity. Perplexity, I can send the same prompt. And, in case you don't see this deep research, you can click on this add button, click on deep research and click on the send button. And you know what? Perplexity will do all the hard work. Again, just like ClYDE, it will also go through literally hundreds of articles and come up with a super extensive research document. Look at this. This is a document that has come after Perplexity read through literally hundreds of articles on the internet on the topic that I gave. Now, here is a thing that I wanted to share with you today. This is deep research. A lot of people might already know about this. But you know what? There is something that a lot of people don't understand. Just like we got AI to do research for all of this, just what if I could get OpenAI, I could get Google's models, I could get Anthropic's models to do research themselves. Once they do research themselves, they chat with each other, they talk to each other and chat with each other once the research is over to understand what each one of them have found, debate with each other, and finally give you one extensive output all by itself. It's like getting three different AI models, like three different employees, do the same work, they talk to each other, you are the manager, they come back with you on a consolidated report. Wouldn't that be insane? Well, that is possible today. If you come to Perplexity, you click on this add button and you select Model Council. This is a max feature, by the way. If you select Model Council and send the same prompt that I just sent, what Model Council will do is it will allow me to select three different AI models. In this case, you can see GPT 5.4, Gemini 3.1 Pro, Opus 4.6 Max, the most powerful AI models out there. I've just selected all the three AI models. I've selected the Model Council. If I click on the send button, you know what will happen? Three different AIs will parallelly work for you, and not just work for you. They will do individual research, but then once they have done individual research, they will share their work with each other, debate among themselves, and give you one final report. You can see the council is GPT 5.4 thinking, ClYDE Opus 4.6 thinking, Gemini 3.1 Pro thinking. It's literally right now doing its work all by itself on parallel. Once it finishes the work, once it does all the research individually, it will start talking to each other. And once it finishes talking to each other, guess what will happen? Look at this. I ran this. All the three AI models, 5.4 thinking, Opus 4.6 thinking, 3.1 Pro thinking, first did their own research, like you can see this. This is their own research. All three of them did their research. And once the research is done, they spoke with each other. And here is a table. Here is where every model agrees. These are the pointers that all the models came up with and agree with. This is where the models agree. A clear table of everything that they agree with. Where models disagree, where you can see every model has their own opinion on topics like countries to launch first, year one revenue estimate, competitive framing. So every AI model is not agreeing to this fact. So they're debating, right? A few they will agree, few they will not agree. And finally, unique discoveries. So few AI models ended up finding few new unique things that other models could not. For example, 5.4 thinking came up with this insight, while ClYDE 4.6 came up with two new insights. Gemini 3.1 Pro came up with two more new insights which other models couldn't. So you're not only getting all the top three, best in class AI models to work with each other, but they're debating among themselves, talking like humans, and finally giving you an incredibly comprehensive analysis of everything. So this is not just research. This is research, debate, and final document in your hand. If you think this is insane, drop a boom in the chat. So, like I told you, right? The crazy thing that everybody needs to understand is the fact that it's not just about the tools that you use, it's about how you're able to get AI to orchestrate better. And that is what is happening here. We did deep research with ClYDE, we did deep research with Perplexity, and then what we did with Model Council was we got AI to debate with each other, fight with each other, do all the hard work for us, eventually giving us an incredible report. That, my friends, is a research intern at your service, which obviously is a lot more powerful than a simple intern. But there's one other thing that I quickly wanted to share with you guys, which is social research using AI. You see, there is one important insight that a lot of people don't realize. Let's say you want to invest in a stock. Let's say you want to invest in the Meta stock. It's not just about reading on the internet about that stock. You can read a bunch of stuff, but you also want to pick up nuance of what people are talking about, what people like you and me are talking about on the internet. What is the feedback? What is the sentiment? Well, you know what? When it comes to feedback, when it comes to real rich information, there are two social networks that I can think of where there is incredible information that can help you, do more things with social listening. One is Reddit, one is X or Twitter. While we don't have an option for Reddit as of yet, there's very soon coming up with something. But if you want real thoughts on any topic, a sentiment on what people, actual humans, are thinking about, you need to research and read a lot of tweets. And just like you can't do a deep research on Twitter using a tool like Perplexity, that is not possible. You can't really do deep research on Perplexity on Twitter data because Twitter doesn't allow you to do that. So what do? Well, you can use Grok. Grok is by X. It's by Elon Musk. It's a SpaceX company. As a result, Grok has this unfair advantage that it has access to the Twitter data. So every time you want to do a social research, not just information research, where you want real people opinion, you do Grok. For example, let's say a prompt like this. You're an expert social media researcher who analyzes real-time public sentiment and conversations on X. Search X and tell me what people are currently saying about ClYDE plus ChatGPT plus Grok. Find the top creators, common complaints, pricing expectations, language people are posting in. Give me raw codes, handles, and patterns, not just summary. I can send a topic like this, and you know what? Grok will come into action. And it will take about, I don't know, 10 to 12 minutes. In this case, it thought for 44 seconds, like you can see. You know what it did? It researched, look at this, all these creators on Twitter, because I said Twitter. It read all these tweets from Twitter on all these topics. Look at this. It basically researched hundreds of tweets to pick up real opinion and finally give me a condensed output of an option that I can't find anywhere else on the internet or from any other tool. Guys, when everybody uses the same AI tool, your unfair advantage lies in that information that not everybody is thinking about. So whenever you're doing research, whenever you're trying to learn about something, whenever you're trying to get sense about a topic, while doing deep research on Perplexity using Model Council or ClYDE is great. Having an understanding of what people are talking about is very, very important. And that is where Grok comes into action because it can search basis of what people are actually talking on Twitter. I hope you found this useful. What I'm trying to share with you guys is insights that changes the way you operate. Give me a thumbs up if this is useful so that I know we are on the same page. Awesome. Awesome. Now, you got sense of this. What I want to go next is, let's say you are doing this research. What research were you doing? You were doing a research on edtech markets in the LATAM countries. You were doing a research on edtech market in the LATAM countries. You got this research, but there was a problem. Your boss or your manager is like, look, I need to make a presentation to my investors and we have 60 minutes time. Can you convert this into a presentation for me so that I can present it to the investors? Well, obviously it's going to be very hard to read through all this research information, convert that into a presentation and present it. It's going to be really, really hard. So what do we do? Well, we go back to ClYDE. We go back to ClYDE, and you know what we ask? We ask ClYDE to make a presentation for us. Here is how I go about a prompt like this. And yes, ClYDE can make killer presentations. So what I'm going to say is, hey, you are an expert when it comes to creating incredible presentations. I'm going to give you a lot of information that I've researched about expanding outskill to LATAM markets. What I want you to do is condense all this information into 10 slides, which is completely data rich, like an expert management consultant. And once you do that, convert that into real slides using the PPTX skill. Guys, if you want ClYDE to convert anything into a presentation, you have to say, convert that into a real slide using PPTX skill. You have to remind ClYDE that it has a skill called as the PPTX skill. What is PPTX skill? PPTX is presentation skill, right? And like we created a skill right now, right? Which was to create email newsletters for us. ClYDE comes with a bunch of skills predefined. And one of the most powerful skill is called as the PPTX skill. Now that I've said this, I can say here is the research. And you know what? I already have done the research here, right? We have the perplexity research. I'm going to just copy this to the bottom, copy this, paste it here. And then we have the model council output that we got. I'm going to copy this as well so that we have full information. There you go. We got some information from Perplexity as well. I can just copy and paste this as well so that I get the best presentation ever. You can see all the 3 files are copied right here, and I just click on send. And you know what? ClYDE gets to work. All I had to tell ClYDE is use the PPTX skill to build it into a presentation. Look at this. Reading the PPTX skill. This is the skill that the ClYDE already has. It's a skill that ClYDE comes with for free. You don't have to make it. You just have to remind it to use it. And you know what? It's reading the PPTX skill. Once it understands what the PPTX skill is, it will start building the deck. Now it's setting the environment. And just to save time, I've done this before. You can see this. It has done all this process, right? It's asked me for a few questions. I just said continue. It did all the process all by itself. I had asked it for 12 slides in the past. And guess what? It built this presentation for us. It's loading up right now. And the best part is, as it loads, let me tell you one thing. You can download this, open this on your Microsoft presentation and start editing this. You can click on this Google Drive icon and open that on Google Slides and edit it. But guess this, check this out. ClYDE has come up with all these slides, guys. Look at this. From the deep research that we just did, ClYDE understood that information, understood that we wanted as a consultant, and converted the whole thing into this incredible presentation that you're seeing in front of your eyes. The whole thing is done by ClYDE. Like I told you, it's a 12-slide presentation, and here we get the 12-slide presentation. Same skill, same tool. How you use it is fundamentally different. By the way, I promised you one thing, that I'm not only going to show you one tool. In any places where there's one more tool that I need to show you, which is also free, but yet very, very powerful, I will. And that tool is Google Gemini. On Google Gemini, if you click on this add button and select, if you click on this tools button and select canvas, you have to select this. And once you do this, I can literally send the same prompt as is, upload all the files and click on the send button. You know what? Google can make a kick-ass presentation as well using Google Gemini for free. Look at this presentation, same information. This is Gemini, which made the presentation for free as well. Check this out. So it depends on what you like. It depends on what you want. But you know what? I got a 5-slide presentation using Gemini, but you get the idea. So again, what I'm trying to say is, it's not just about the tool. It's about how you push the limits of a tool. That is what matters. That is what will create the difference between you and everybody else. And that is what I meant by ClYDE skill as well. ClYDE has a lot of skills. You just have to remind that it has the skill. So it will start acting. Guys, a quick question before we move deeper into all of this. From a scale of 1 to 10, how is the session going on so far? Would just like to know, because like I told you, it's very rough. I just wanted to put this information out there. A few of you people might know a few things that I've shared today, but I'm trying to do the best that I can share with you. Of course, I don't think I can please everyone, but all I can do is try to add a lot of value for a lot of people. Okay, looks like most of you people are having a good time. So I'm gonna make a move. Okay, I'm gonna move on and we're gonna know the next stuff. So one other important thing that a lot of people usually talk about is when it comes to data and Excel. All right. When it comes to data and Excel, a lot of people ask me, Vaibhav, can you help me with this? So I thought I'll show you two things today when it comes to data and Excel. Number one is I wanted to show you how you can use AI inside of an Excel sheet. That is one thing that I wanted to show you. Two, I also wanted to show you how, even though you don't know how to write a single line of code, you can become an expert data scientist to do a lot of data analysis work for yourself without writing a single line of code. I thought I'll quickly show you both of them so that this becomes useful. And for this, for the first one, where I want AI to work inside of Excel sheets, I use a tool which I really like. And I've spoken about this before. Just in case you know about this, have some patience. And that is called as Numerous AI. I think Numerous AI is pretty cool, very powerful. It works incredibly well inside of an Excel. It's an add-on inside of Excel and Google Sheets. Now, let's say I have this sheet of data, right? I have this sheet of data. Once I've installed Numerous AI on my computer, obviously these are all paid tools, but you need to be willing to spend money if you want AI to do the work for you, right? Once you've installed, you can go to extensions, click on Numerous AI, click on show sidebar. I'm not going to show you how to set this up. I expect you guys are smart enough to figure that out yourself. I've showed you the name of the tools. Guys, one more very important thing. We are going to share links to all the tools that I'm showing you today and also all the prompts that I've used today towards the end. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to take notes. In case you want to take some notes for your insights, please do. But for the tool names and all the prompts, don't worry. We're going to share all of that with you. Okay, towards the end of the today's session. Okay, now back to the topic. Let's say you're one of those people like me who always forgets how to write great formulas on Excel. You know Excel can do it, but you don't remember how to write the formula. Let's say on the column K, I want all this data to be merged together and put so that I have the full address here, but I don't remember the formula. So what do? Now that I have the Numerous AI sidebar right here, I can click on this generate formula button right here. There you go. And this box opens up and I say, hey, can you make sure all the information that is on F2, G2, H2, I2, and J2 are put together and you add spaces between them. There you go. I just added that prompt right here and I click on generate formula. I didn't even tell what formula to use or anything. I just explained what I want. It came up with a weird looking formula. I don't know what it does. I just copy it and I just paste it here. And boom, look at that. The formula is applied and we have the answer right here. Now what I can do is simply drag it like this and we have filled up a formula. Now I showed you a simple example of a concatenation. That is because everyone should be able to understand the power of it. But if you're an advanced user, you can do VLOOKUP, you can do HLOOKUP, you can do macros, you can do app script, you can do a bunch of things using this same tool when it comes to anything with Excel. Now, one thing that Numerous is great about is not just that it can write formulas, that it can do really well, like you guys can already see, but can do something else also extremely well. And that is doing your manual work that you don't enjoy doing. What is that? I have a table here, product category reviews. I have all this information right here, right? And I realized that, hey, I don't know if it's a positive review or a negative review. And there are like literally 600 reviews here. It will take me forever to read each one of the review and update it if it is a positive review or a negative review. I don't want to do this manually. So what do? I invoke Numerous. I say is equal to NAI, which is Numerous AI. Once you install this extension, and I simply write a prompt. Go through the review and tell me if it's positive, negative, or neutral. That's a prompt, and then comma, and I put the cell, I select the cell name where the where the review is written. And I just close the bracket, click on the enter button. Guys, that's it. You know what? AI will read this review and will tell you if it is positive, negative, or neutral. Now that it is working, now that I've written it once, I can simply drag it. And guess what? I don't have to do this manually for each one of them. AI will read all these reviews for me, understand if it's positive, negative, or neutral, and look at that, guys. Look at that. Look at the amount of time you can save. Let's say you want to rewrite a headline. Let's say you want to write product description for your D2C website. Whatever is repetitive, I can just put it on the sheet, ask AI to do it, and it'll just do it for me. So your imagination is what will stop this from getting incredible outputs. Now, this is not just about data analysis, right? Data analysis don't only happen on Excel. Data analysis happens beyond of Excel. For example, let's say you have this huge chunk of data and you need to analyze this data and find insights out of it. And you don't know how to do data analysis. You don't know how to do Python. You don't know any of that stuff. What do? Well, if I was you, I would just download that sheet as CSV. There's a big file, like you can see, I just downloaded it. I would go to ClYDE and I would just dump the file. Just dump the CSV sheet and I say, you are an expert data analyst and you're an expert senior strategy consultant. Examine the data that I've uploaded and find me 4 to 5 strategic questions that CXO executive would want to be answered. Start by going through the data, understand the data, write the Python script or whatever you need to do to find me all the insights and present that information in form of a neat dashboard for me. That's all I say, guys. That's all I say. And all I have to do is click on the send button. And you know what? ClYDE is a very good coder. Just because it's a very good coder, it can do data analysis very well, because for data analysis, you need something called as Python. So when you send something like this, ClYDE is going to get to work for like about 10 minutes. And once it finishes the work, you will end up with a dashboard like this. Look at this. Now I have everything I need. Let me build a full strategic brief. Look at this. It built a dashboard that you can see. It had 22,000 records of 11 jobs, all of them for Bangalore. This was the CTC. And look at this. The governing questions. I asked it to give me 5 questions, strategic questions. The governing question is right here, and gave me a bunch of tactical questions based on the data that I shared with ClYDE. So what is the question? Where are we likely losing talent to the market, and which roles have been systematically underpaid? It did the whole data analysis right here, and it says role by role com brand recalibration. SDE and database roles need brand anchored at market value. So it did analysis. It is telling you about the data, and it's also telling the decision it drives, because that's a prompt that I asked it to. And it did all of this all by itself by working for about 15 minutes. And this is how you can get ClYDE to do data analysis. You just ask questions, you upload a sheet of data, you always try to ask it to give it to you in form of a dashboard, so that's easier for you to consume. I am a dashboard guy. I can consume information with dashboards much better. If you don't like dashboard, you can also say, don't give me dashboards, give me in 5 bullet points, the top insights. Whatever it is, it will work, because what you need to understand is this. ClYDE is an incredible data scientist. It wrote a bunch of Python, like you can see. It wrote a bunch of Python for us. Look at this. It actually it ended up writing a bunch of Python for us to do this data analysis, to be able to pull off this information for us. I can't write Python for, I can't write Python. If you are one of those people, well, good job. I can't. So I use ClYDE for that. And it's bloody good with it. Right? And that is how you can get AI to do data analysis on an Excel sheet, write formulas for you. And if you want actual data scientist based decisions, you get ClYDE, upload the data, and just ask it questions. Helpful? Helpful? Guys, the idea was not to drag this session for a very long time. The idea was to give you insane amount of value today, so that you go out with a refreshed mind using ClYDE. I hope that is happening. And sorry if if I'm not able to do a great justice for you, because, like I told you, this is not one of those super prepared sessions. This is one of those sessions where I wanted to be impromptu. And if I get new ideas, I wanted to share. For example, Claude skill that we created, I didn't plan for it. As I was doing it, I got the idea. Maybe I should teach them Claude skill. And I ended up teaching. That is how I wanted to keep this. And I'm glad you guys are having a good time today. And also towards the end, we will spend about 10-15 minutes to do Q&A. Just in case if you have any questions on AI, I'll be happy to take them as well. So stick around. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is something about learning. You see, when someone asks Larry Page, what is going to be the most important skill for people in the AI first world? You know what he said? Larry was like, the skill that is most important to win in the AI first world is the ability to learn, is to build the skill of learning things fast. And when it comes to learning things fast, right, I am one of those people who is not so much of a reader. I'm more of a watcher or a listener. In fact, I learn the most in my life by listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot. If you look at my podcast list, you'll be like, dude, what the hell? All right. And if you look at my YouTube, my girlfriend is annoyed with me because she says you're working all day, you come back home and you watch these YouTube videos that are like weird. People watch fun content. You're watching some weird podcast of some weird developer and whatnot. Can you just chill? But that is how I learn. And I enjoy doing that. I find excitement in that. Right. I'm sure a lot of you people can relate to it, but you get the idea. But you know what? What if there's a topic that I want to learn and there is no podcast on it? I need to read a lot of articles. I don't want to do it. Well, you know what I do? I use a very interesting tool that a lot of you people might know of called as Notebook LM. But you know what? I can guarantee you a lot of you people might have heard of Notebook LM, but you don't really know the real power of it. And today, I wanted to show you a couple of things which I truly believe is going to blow your mind. I'm going to teach you a way on how I learn any topic that I want using Notebook LM, which is probably one of the most powerful AI tools out there. Well, how do you go about Notebook LM? Very simple. I click on Create New Notebook. This is how I go about it. And this nice little pop-up opens up. And I just say, I want to learn, or how does AI actually work? Let's say this is a topic that I want to learn. And once I type out the topic, I usually select deep research and click on the send button. You know what Notebook LM does? It will deep research on this topic. How does AI actually work? Pull out hundreds of resources that are available on the internet and create a notebook for you with all the notes. That is what Notebook LM is. It pulls out a lot of resources on the internet and makes a notebook for you on this topic. Just to save time, I've done this some time back, and look at this. When I gave it the same topic, how I AI, Notebook LM went and found all these resources on the internet, literally like some 100 articles on the internet on how I AI, how to learn how AI works, and built this summary notebook for me. And now I can literally ask any question that I want to, explain step-by-step process of building a neural network, and give me an answer by going through this documents only. So it's factual. So of course, you can chat with it and learn with it. But the real power of Notebook LM is in the studio section. I told you how I like learning everything with podcasts. Any topic that I want, I can click on audio overview. I can select the language that I want a podcast to be generated on. In this case, let's say English. And let's say I wanted to focus on a topic. Let's say how AI actually works in the backend. This is the only bit that I wanted to focus on. I can simply click on generate. And you know what? It will automatically generate an audio podcast. Look at this, generating audio overview for me. Well, I've done a couple of them before and I'll play it to you. Okay. This is one of the podcasts that I've generated. Listen to this.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But your logical brain knows it's a trick. It's misdirection or a hidden compartment or just thousands of hours of practice.
Mm-hmm.
But the illusion is so smooth that it almost defies reason.
Yeah, until you spot the false bottom.
Exactly. And when you finally spot that false bottom, the illusion is broken.
Guys, Can you believe this? This whole podcast was generated just for you and me. The whole podcast was generated by AI going through all these articles, and it created a podcast for us, which I can listen, which is personalized. Now, here's the crazy part. Let's say I have a doubt. I have a question. Who do I ask? I can simply click on this interactive button that you can see here, interactive. And guess what? I can ask a question. Let's say I'm listening to the podcast.
When you see a stage magician, pull a rabbit out of an empty hat, part of you
Hey, I
genuinely
have
wants
a
to believe it's
question.
actual magic,
Oh,
Sorry.
absolutely.
right? But your logical
Oh, wait.
I click
someone
on the
wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Hey, I have a question. My name is Vaibhav. I have this question that do I really need to learn about all this technical stuff like neural networks and hallucination and all this techie stuff for me to be able to leverage the full power of AI? Because I don't know how to write code. I'm not a developer. Do I still need to know all this stuff? Please let me know.
Oh, Weber, that is a
Guys.
fantastic question.
Really insightful one, actually.
You're touching on exactly why we're doing this deep dive.
And the short answer is no, you do not need to code.
No, you don't need calculus.
You certainly don't need a PhD.
You don't need to be an engineer to use AI effectively.
Understanding the essentials of AI can be learned.
The sources are super clear on this point.
For everyday use, learning AI is about working alongside the tools.
It's less about writing algorithms.
Guys,
It's
did
about-
you just see? Did you just see what we were managed to do? We literally asked a question to AI and was able to answer back to us. It's like not just having a podcast, but actually having a podcast that I can talk to and ask questions. And here's the crazy part, right? You can generate podcasts in multiple language. For example, I've just generated in Spanish. This is in Spanish.
Porque dejamos de escribirle las reglas a la máquina. Le aventamos un montón de datos y le decimos, encuentra los patrones tú misma.
Well, I don't understand Spanish, but I find the language to be beautiful. I spent a lot of time in Mexico, LATAM region when I was at Uber. So I just thought I'll generate an example. Now, other crazy thing about this is that you can also generate your own video lesson if you click on video overview. You can click on this video overview button and explain the topic that you want the video to be on. And you know what? AI will literally generate a personalized lesson with slides, with voiceover, with animation.
We have
for
built
you like this.
machines capable of writing highly complex code in seconds. Yet these same systems will present dangerous absurdities as absolute truth. Take this response from Google's AI overview, which confidently instructed users to eat at least one small rock per day. The system did not spontaneously invent
see-
this dietary advice.
You see how crazy this is? It's not just a voiceover. It's a presentation converted into a whole video just for you. It's a whole video generated just for you. So that you can learn a topic that you want to learn and even something even more specific. Now you probably know why I find this tool to be probably the best learning tool out there. Guys, if you found this valuable, drop in a heart. A lot of people know about Notebook LM, but they don't know the true potential of it. As a result, I quickly wanted to show you guys this. And that's how you play with Notebook LM. Finally, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to show you today. The next thing that I wanted to show you is something that a lot of people absolutely want to learn. And that is how to build stuff without writing a single line of code. You see, there are a lot of vibe coding products out there on the internet, where you can send a text prompt, it can build a whole website, whole landing page, whole app for you. But you know what? What if I want it in more nuance? An actual human doesn't just build a website. An actual human first designs it using a tool like Figma or Adobe or whatever, and then it goes to a developer and the developer develops it. What if I get AI to do the same work? First, I get AI, which is a specialized designer, to design it, and then I'll take the design and give it to a specialized developer to develop it. And what if I tell you both the things can be done for free? Well, our good friends at Google have made that possible. There is this incredible tool that 99% of people that I know of have never heard of. It's called as Stitch. Stitch is basically a UI designer. It's basically a UI designer. All you have to do is send a prompt to it, tell how you want the website to be, and it's going to design for you. Let's say I say something like this. You're an expert landing page designer who builds high converting pages for AI education products. Build a single page website for Outskill LATAM launch of the AI Bootcamp program in Spanish and Portuguese speaking professionals. And I'm explaining how I want the hero section to be. I'm telling what fonts to use and what colors to use and what not. And I say, make it feel premium, not generic SaaS. And I just send this. You know what? Stitch, my hands are off, is a visual designer. So what it will understand is it will understand a prompt and first create a mood board like a designer. A designer never starts designing. A designer first builds a mood board, first builds a typography board, the colors, the fonts, the icons. What does it want to do? That is what it will build. It will build something called as a design system. Once it, and look at that, it just built a design system for us. This is the design system that it built like a designer. Now that it has built the design system, it will start designing the actual landing page from here. You will very soon see it will start designing the landing page as well from the design system. And you can see this, it has started to generate the screen. It is obviously not ready yet. Just like it doesn't develop the product, guys. It just designs it. And every time, let's say once it has done the design, you have some feedback, you can always come back and tell what you want it to do. You can also ask it to generate multiple variations of the same thing. So you can generate 3 different variations. I'll tell you one more crazy thing. You can literally talk to it in the live mode as well. Let it generate. I will show you the real power of this. It's just like I'm talking to a product designer. Okay, let me go to something that is already done, right? So I gave this prompt sometime back. You can see this. Let me zoom in. I gave this prompt sometime back, and guess what? This is the design it ended up making. This is a visual design, guys. I told it I need it in Portuguese and Spanish, and that is what it pulled off, an Outskill website for the Portuguese market. Now, this is the design. Let's say I have some feedback. I can click on this Start Live Mode button.
Hey, what are we designing?
Hey, you can see that I'm trying to build this landing page, right? I see the font name. The font name says Neo Monolith. I know that is the name of the font, but that is supposed to say Outskill there. That's wrong.
Let me check the current font for you. Let me see. It looks like Neon Monolith is being used for headlines and body text is using body text. Did you want to change that?
No. I don't want to change the font. You see, if you look at the header, if you look at the header area, right? This area is called as Neon Monolith. That is supposed to say Outskill, not Neon Monolith.
Got it. What are we exploring? Let me see what's in the header. It seems the logo is currently Neon Monolith, but you want it to say Outskill instead. Should I go ahead and make that change?
Yes, please do make that change for me. Yes, go ahead and make that change for me, please. All right, guys, looks like it got stuck. See, these products are not perfect, but this gives you a very good glimpse of the future, right? It works every single time I use it. Today, when I'm teaching you guys, it stopped. Of course, I can try it and it's going to work again. But you got the idea. You're able to talk to AI, literally talk to it like a product designer, and guess how good this will be in a couple of months, maybe. Now, I told you, Stitch just designs it. It doesn't really build the website, just designs it. Who is going to build it? We're going to give it to a developer. And who is the developer? How is he going to build it? Well, all I have to do is select this. This is the design that I want. Click on this export button and select AI Studio, which is also a free Google product. Once I select AI Studio and say build with AI Studio, guess what? It will automatically open AI Studio for me. It will enter the prompt and look at all these 3 images that it automatically inputted. All I have to say is click on the build button. And you know what? It's going to convert this exact design into a fully built, developed product, which I've done already some time back. And look at this. The whole product right now is built. The code is written, which you can start using right away. The whole product is built exactly the way it was designed. Ditto. So you have full control. You got Stitch to design it, and then you export it to the Google AI Studio by clicking on this export button, selecting AI Studio, and said build with AI Studio. And that's it. It got to the work, like you can see. Once the work is done, you're going to see the full landing page right here. And that is what I mean by getting the most out of AI. You got one AI which is specialized to design, that is Stitch, which designed your pages. And then you got one more AI which is specialized to build or write code, which is a specialized developer to develop the whole thing. And all of this done for free. Guys, drop in a heart if you think this was useful, this was helpful, you got a sense of this and everything around it. Yes, incredible. Awesome. Now, the one other thing that I wanted to quickly show you guys is when it comes to applying jobs. I'm sure a lot of people want to apply for a lot of interesting gigs and you're not sure what to apply and what to not apply, and you want AI to help you. Well, let me help you with a very interesting way to apply for jobs. Okay. If you go to ClYDE, okay, I'm going to also open my LinkedIn because I don't have my resume. Look at this. This is very interesting. Okay. I'm going to go to my LinkedIn, click on resources and click on save to PDF so that I can download my resume. So this is my resume and I want to apply for jobs. All I can do is I can come to ClYDE, upload this resume, and I can tell ClYDE, hey, could you act like my career advisor and go through all of my resume? And what I want you to do is once you go through all of my resume, I want you to help me find me jobs. And you know what? I'm looking for jobs which are very specific. You see, I have leveled up to become an incredible AI generalist or an AI orchestrator. I'm an AI first problem solver right now. And I want to pivot into job roles which are looking for AI orchestrators or AI experts. So look for jobs where I can use a bunch of AI tools, which is like the future of jobs, right? I'm looking for companies which are based out of I think I don't care where they're based out of, they could be global. I'm looking for a remote job, but it should be paying me at least $100,000 a year. Those are the kind of jobs that I'm looking for. There you go. I've entered the prompt. You'll be like, how will ClYDE look for jobs? Well, here is where the magic is. I click on this add button and there are something called as connectors. If I go to connectors and click on add connector, there are a lot of websites that you can connect ClYDE to directly. The list goes on right here. I'm going to search for Indeed. Indeed is a job hunting platform. I just select Indeed and I connect it. I've already connected it, so I don't have to disconnect. Once I connect it, right, what will show up is if I click on add, if I go to connectors, you can see Indeed right here. All I have to do is, it will be usually off. I have to toggle that on. That's it. And you know what? ClYDE will all of a sudden take your resume, understand what is your resume about, what is your job and everything around it. Once it understands what it is, once it goes through all of that, it will go into Indeed, look for jobs based on what fits your resume, based on the specifications that you have mentioned here. You're looking for a very specific job, and it will literally, look at this, searching for jobs. It is parallelly looking for multiple keywords inside of Indeed all by itself. Look at this. It's making 3 different searches parallelly for us. 4 different actually right now. And it's adding more. You can see this. It's doing multiple searches on Indeed. Look at this, guys. It's wild what it's doing right now. Look at the number of searches it's doing parallelly inside of Indeed, which will take us hours and hours for that matter. And we said remote, so it doesn't matter where the job is, right? Once it finishes the whole thing, it will give me, it's continuing to do it. It's continuing to look at the number of searches it's making. Now that has gone to so many searches directly inside of Indeed. I didn't have to do it. ClYDE did it inside of Indeed using connectors. Now it has enough data. Now it's building a career advisor dashboard by reading my resume, matching my AI skills to the roles, and will eventually give me a bunch of roles that I should apply for. Isn't this wild, guys? Isn't this just wild? That we are getting AI to do all the job hunting for us. Look at this. It built a AI career dashboard. 8 roles matched my profile for 100K to 300K salary. And here are the roles. Founding AI engine, AI agent architect. It's remote, and the name of the company is Local First AI. It's paying me 120K to 180K, and I can just apply on Indeed. Or how to position me is also something I can click and will be able to give me that information as well. You can see this senior AI product manager at Principal Finance Group. Credit Acceptance is the name of the company. One more. MariaDB is one more. And basically it found me all the roles. Now, let us say I like one of these. Let's say I like one of these. I can literally say, could you please redo my resume for each of these jobs based on the job descriptions so that I can use a personalized resume to apply for these jobs? So personalize my resume for each of these jobs for me first and give them to me in form of PDFs. There you go. I say that. You can see this. It gave me the whole thing. It gave me all the roles that is out there. It also gave me 3 things that I should prioritize. But what did I say? I want to convert that into not just, I want all my resumes to be personalized. Now it's pulling out job descriptions of each of the role. Once it pulls all the job descriptions of each of the roles, it will start rewriting the whole thing into a new resume for me. And guys, I need to give it some time. It's going to work for like 10 minutes. And it's going to rewrite all the resumes for me. Guys, drop a mind blown MB in the chat if you think this is mind blowing. Look at this. I have all the 8 job descriptions right now. Now let me build 8 tailored PDFs in one script, and it's writing a Python script right now to be able to build them into my personalized resumes. Yes, useful, helpful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let it do its work right now. Let it do its work. Because we're talking about jobs, we're going to come back to this because I'm sure you guys want to see how it's going to look like. We're going to come back to this in just a while. It's going to take about 10 minutes to do this. We're going to come back to that. But what have we covered so far? We covered context engineering. We covered personal AI research intern. We covered social research. We covered pro data analysis using AI. We covered building presentation in minutes, summarizing anything instantly, building websites, and job hunting. And not just one way, multiple ways of doing it. The final one that I wanted to show you is the tool that literally became a reason for layoff. As we wait for AI to cover this, let me move on to the next one. And that tool is basically way more powerful than the basic ClYDE. This tool became the reason for companies like Salesforce, Adobe, $285 billion worth of stock got wiped out in the NASDAQ. And that tool, my friends, is called as ClYDE Cowork. What the hell is ClYDE Cowork? ClYDE Cowork is like an employee. It can use and do things that a human can. It can work on a computer. It can work on files inside of computer. It can parallelize itself so that it can do 10 different jobs parallelly all at once. That will take us hours to come. And do you guys want to see the power of ClYDE Cowork? Give me a thumbs up if you guys want to see the power of ClYDE Cowork. Well, you know what? For you to use ClYDE Cowork, you can't use the web version of ClYDE. You have to use the ClYDE desktop app. And here's a ClYDE desktop app. I've just pulled it for you. Right? And on the ClYDE desktop app, instead of chat, you jump to this section called as Cowork. When I jump to Cowork, this is the section. This is how the section is going to look like. Now, the first thing that you will see here is the ability to select a folder. I can work in a project. What do I mean by select a folder? It can work on files that are literally on your computer right now. So I can say work on a project. I can choose a folder that's on my computer. That's why it needs a desktop app. You can see this pop-up opened up. I can literally go to desktop, and there is a folder that I have, which is called as the Lenny's podcast transcripts. I will just open that folder and I'll tell you what this is. This has literally hundreds of podcast transcripts inside of it. Okay. It is something like this. I'm going to show you the folder. This is Lenny's podcast. Look at this. These are all the podcasts that Lenny, a very popular creator who creates podcasts with founders and product people, has done. And these are all the podcast transcripts of all the podcasts that this gentleman has done. It's very, very valuable. It's on AI, right? All the podcasts are right here. I don't have the patience to watch all the podcasts. So I got all the transcripts and I gave it to ClYDE via ClYDE Cowork. I gave it access and I just say, hey, could you please go through all these podcast transcripts? And can you tell me some insightful stuff that I can apply? You see, I'm looking for a roadmap to apply AI workflows inside of my company to improve efficiency. So go through all the podcast transcripts that I've shared with you and tell me super impactful thing that incredible people have told that I should implement in my company Outskill and convert that into a roadmap. And in fact, not just the roadmap, use the PPTX skill to convert that into a 5-slide or a 10-slide presentation, which I can directly use with the notes to present in my company's all hands. So guys, I'm asking AI to literally go through hundreds of podcasts, go through it, find the dots, find the information, and put all of that together in form of a presentation. You know what will happen? It will start preparing the session. It will go access the file. It will create a checklist here. It will write its own prompt. It will build its own context, work for 30 minutes, 40, 50 minutes that it will take, run parallel agents to be able to watch and go through hundreds of transcripts and eventually build me a presentation. Of course, we don't have the time. As a result, I did this some time back and look at this. This is what it did. It ran 4 commands, ran multiple agents like you guys can see, build a PPTX skill, use the local files, and eventually converted the whole thing into a presentation right here. All end to end. And this, my friends, is called as Cowork. I use the files that are on my computer, did all this work and converted that into a presentation in 20 minutes. That is the power of ClYDE Cowork. And you can see on top of this, if you add skills to this, multiple skills to it, like a financial skill, like a business skill, imagine the kind of stuff it can pull off. And as we were doing this, look at this. We have all our resumes ready, guys. We have 8 different resumes ready for 8 different roles that we want to apply for personalized. All I can say is just apply for this roles right now. I can say apply the jobs above using the resumes correctly. And you know what? It will go ahead and apply the job for me. Obviously, I don't want to apply for jobs. I'm pretty happy with the work that I'm doing right now. But you get the idea. That, my friends, is the power of ClYDE today. What you have seen today, I want to ask this question to all of you people. We have covered quite a lot in the last 90 minutes. I genuinely have this question. Guys, do you believe you have 10x yourself in the last 90 minutes? Drop a comment 10x in the chat if you have, on how to use ClYDE, how to use this advanced tools, how you can replicate yourself to be able to do a lot more with one simple tool. I love those 100x's and 1000x's as well. Love it. Mind blown? Was it worth your time? Awesome. Now, you know what?